The man opens eyes in the middle of the lake over which the red drone flies. Before it maintaining his family, spaceships, firefights, rushes. Having finally recovered, the man floats to the coast, accompanied with the drone which calls it driving and checks his mental health. Here from the lake calls for help reach, and there is one more man, and afterwards, and the woman none of them remember that he happened to them. The Finn, having seen fragments ashore, learns the remains of the warship of Dwarfs. The addresses are remembered by invasion, then men find the car remains, laying here not 100 years. Probably on this place it was once expensive. To deliver like to this video of Morfox with you. People remember invasion and suddenly it turns out that all of them died in different years. Besides, Abram admits that he is 67 years old, though looks on 25. According to the red drone, people revived in their best years, and memoirs are all different because people at different times died around them the earth. But in 400 years after extinction of mankind, destroyed by newcomers returned to life of a being, living in water who are called by sparks, well, and the rest people will be able to learn the settlement where lives same come back, an ultimate goal revival of mankind. The drone orders to Esri to collect sparks. Having collected the not numerous belongings, people go behind the drone, trying to understand why the dwarf to revive them. Soon they find a half-ruined arch, and Abram runs to them, enjoying a young, strong body on one of designs. He sees it is unknown hieroglyphs, and concerns them the man rejects, and he admits that he saw everything suddenly. The red drone is forced down, and the second shot. The unknown persecutor will wound Abram the Trinity, runs for the hill, where Ezra, having made an ambush, catches the persecutor. The man who is called Jackass disproves existence of the settlement, and the shining substance on his neck is a skin rider who makes a single hole with a human body. It is necessary for the man sparks, but the Finn is very surely shown by possession of weapon. Abram assures that when touched unknown symbols on an arch, he felt formidability of space, but it causes sneers of a Drax, which suddenly is released and rushes for Euro. But the Finn is directed at him by his weapon. This time the man is connected more strong and leave, in spite of the fact that he says that he knows the brother social revolutionaries. Soon the team does a stop in a cave while the hunter is found by the same people with the shining parasites on a neck, and among them there is a brother Ezra Silas. Meanwhile, the revived people in a cave discuss ways to recreate the person and do not understand from where newcomers received initial material. At night at Abram, the got wound in flames, he is lowered the small lake, where release sparks. And immediately in the morning, Abram appears absolutely healthy. The Finn discusses happened to the sister, because does not understand why chose her from millions of great people soon revived. See, high walls of the settlement are far, but on the road make up for them. One rider with the shining necks, Ezra, remains to detain a pursuit, and it manages some time while he does not recognize among them the brother of a silo. At this time, the Finn and Abram reach settlement walls, and when it seems that they are fated, will be to be taken prisoner. In gate open, the yellow drone neutralizes a skin of riders and lets in fugitives inside, and then flies behind driving and transfers it by air to the settlement where there is nobody. The drone invites to all questions to follow it and shows ranks of graves, where settlers are based. Later, the yellow drone opens for people of a door of abandoned military base where there lived last settlers. At this time in the forest, skin riders catch the man who ran away from them. Silas finds out that the shining being who they call partners for some reason ceased to function in Duncan's neck and promises it to repair. Meanwhile, revived learn that settlers died from a new virus, which is still widespread in all the district. The yellow drone asks to release. The spark in a vessel with water also learns from them that sparks will be able to create vaccine if people bring the ingredients living in the live lake. Here, wear of the Finn blood begins to go, and the girl remains on base when the man leaves to the lake. It undertakes repair of the damaged red drone. On the road, Ezra tries to understand how the system which recovered them is arranged. The drone works for sparks, and who operates sparks, it is unknown. Men come to the lake and release sparks in water for extraction of necessary ingredients. From the settlement at this time before Ooze, the wife of Crinkles, appears. She tells that she worked as the nurse during invasion and can help, but then on the bank of the lake, Ezra also suddenly vanishes. Admits that one of Cinema of Riders, his brother, so these people are revived too, and remembers that moment when for the first time saw the spaceship of newcomers which flew over his head. Then he let know to the brother that he is the worthless, spoiled boy, and now he intends to apologize and try to return a silo at this time to Ooze the hologram of a lean, which helps it to repair the red drone comes again. Meanwhile, the yellow drone warns about approach a skin of riders. Ezra asks Abram to run, and itself to watch for the brother of a silo. But it is surrounded and cut. Having recovered, it appears alone with the brother, who admits that he forbade to turn it into a rider skin because wants the brother to join them voluntarily violently. The skin of a rider lives off everyone the partner, which teaches the person how to do right thing and telepathic to connect with the others, thanks to the partner Silas, the leader and the mentor for the others now. And in the last world he was nobody. And here Sales suddenly fills up, doing to the brother signs to leave. Ezra meets in the forest of Abram, to which she tells that the man intends to save the brother, return to the lake where Sparks made for them 3 capsules with vaccine, and having drunk the carry 3 Feeny who become worse. The link asks to replace the red drone it. The image on the person, dear to the girl, and near Ooze, appears Duncan of the Finn recovers after friends gave it vaccine. Next day, Abram finds the crammed room where the shining obelisk is found. At this time in the forest, Silas argues with Duncan on appointment of the partner who operates each thought a skin of riders of communication, because the man considers this slavery. Abrams's settlement learns to read hieroglyphs and understands that unknown owners suggest to dig out in the forest weapon against a skin of riders. What they will receive more people for the settlement for Ezra goes to the forest to excavation, and at this time Silas brings Duncan on a glade where Jackass arranges training fight, sneering at ordinary people. But unexpectedly, Duncan wins against a Shax. Silas stops a duel and says that he checked the theory in which it became clear that the person 1 fraction of a second faster reacts than a rider skin. Duncan has a weak partner now, therefore he makes the decision only 1 brain human, Austin of Riders with the healthy partner. The signal passes through 2 brains human, and the partner, therefore the signal is transmitted to a fraction of a second more slowly, a conclusion from this, such that people will always win against them, a fight to get advantage over people. Silas wants to perform brain surgeries to reduce a signal delay. But the working drone and the experimental person is for this purpose necessary. Meanwhile, the yellow drone brings to the lake to the place of excavation what riders immediately learn a skin about. Ezra digs out a subject which Yellow calls weapon, and at this time Abram, having concerned an obelisk, suddenly understands that she knows value of hieroglyphs on it, but does not understand yet that it gives. In the forest, the yellow drone warns I go about approach a skin of riders they try to run, but surround them and select the dugout weapon, but it is activated and kills one of Cinema of Riders. Having used it, Ezra scatters the others and runs away. Meanwhile, tries to recognize the Finn from the red drone Y to unknown beings to revive mankind, and asks to revive the loved Duncan without suspecting yet that it is already revived and the skin is a rider. Ezra brings weapon for destruction, a skin of riders, to an obelisk, hoping that it will help to come into contact, but refuses to kill forest inhabitants until the obelisk explains who are they. Such, and that in general here occurs, drones which are operated by an obelisk promise to revive 7 Ezra if he obeys them in everything. Hedgehogs, it is necessary to obey later. At the night of the Finn goes to an obelisk, where find Euro, which also, as well as it, hopes for return of relatives, and notice that is dug out in the forest the weapon opened. Meanwhile, the obelisk gives a new portion of the symbols ordering to Feeny and those to the lake where she will receive new people. But on the way of it, notice riders at Cinema, and the drone tells Abram about the device of the shining partner on shaken riders, which are densely connected with a brain of the person through crystal structure dug out in the forest. Weapon destroys these crystals. Destroying a parasite when a skin rider dies on a crystal is held it in remembrance, which is transferred to the ancestor here at that, and it is necessary to find and destroy. Meanwhile, sees the Finn emerged from the lake of Aline and helps it to get out to the coast when ashore appears Jakes, but it is neutralized by the red drone. Girls take to the heels and fall into hands by Duncan, who captures the red drone and does not recognize to the Finn the beloved from the last world of the girl, try to run away. But the Lean injures a leg and orders to find to run to the settlement and to call her husband. Aline comes across a Skinner rider which returns her on the lake where Jackass shows how sparks work, curing her leg. But here in the head of a Drax the stone arrives, and the unknown little savage takes away Aline to the forest house, where gives it footwear and treats with food. But it becomes clear that the girl cannot speak. At this time, the Finn reaches base and tells about ZR about revival of his wife of Aline. The man is torn to save it, though the yellow drone reports that if a skin of a rider collect whom, then it forever. Meanwhile, Janksh finds the house of the little savage, but the girl already took away Aline. They hide in the forest. At this time, Ezra deliberates how to disconnect a force field. Vitya, an obelisk, will not allow to make it, depriving of it an opportunity to go beyond gate. The Finn admits that saw Duncan, who is at a skin of riders too. He did not recognize her, and now the same happens to Aline. Meanwhile, in the forest, Jax tracks down fugitives and finds out that sparks are mistaken too, and then there are rejected people. It is ready to destroy the girl, but Aline to persuade him not to do it. At this time, Silas pulls out a crystal. The partner from a neck of the rider which dyed a skin also sends one of women to carry it to the ancestor and here bring Aline to it. And Abram, at communication with an obelisk, suddenly assumes that he already lived in this settlement that confirms the found notebook with the records made his hand. After the Finn suggests that all of them already lived. Here, the yellow drone confirms this fact and conducts Abram at the cemetery, where show all who are buried here, including an Ezra grave. It turns out that it was already once revived too and lived in the settlement, then yellow. Conducts Abram to the following grave where he lies and urges to begin new life adequately. On it, the 4th series of series Extinction comes to an end. Do not forget to deliver like to this video, and in comments, write how to you these series, and with you were more Fox. We will meet very soon.